Upadesa Saram, Essence of Teachings, offered by Bhagavan Sri Ramana Maharshi. Verses 21 to 25. Idamaham pada bhikya manvaham ahamilina ke pyalaya sattaya. This is always the true import of the term I, for we do not cease to exist even in the deepest sleep, where there is no sense of I. Explanation for this verse is as follows. In the previous verse, Maharishi revealed that where the false I becomes extinct, there now shines an I consciousness all by itself, and this I is the infinite, perfect, real self. In this verse, he emphasizes that this perfect, infinite consciousness is the true import, the real meaning and significance of the term I, and not the false I, the ego that is parading as the real I. Due to ignorance and accumulated vasanas or deeply ingrained mental tendencies, one has become a slave to this false I and dances to its tunes. But when one realizes this mistake and wants to get rid of this menace and nuisance and realize one's own pristine, blissful, perfect nature, one inquires within as to where it comes from. Since the ego is only the I thought and not real, when one looks for it, it vanishes, and there shines the real I, which is ever existent. Ramana Maharshi further explains in this verse that the reason why only the I consciousness is real is because even in the deepest sleep, it exists where there is no sense of the ego, the I thought. The real I exists always, but the I thought or ego exists only sometimes. Vigrahendriya pranadhitama nahameka sat tajjadam hyasat. Body, senses, mind, life, and ignorance are all not real. I am alone real. These insentient ones are not. Explanation for this verse is as follows. In the previous verse, Maharishi declared what the true import of I is. When this is heard, then the question arises, then what about the body, senses, mind, life breath, and even the ignorance of oneself in deep sleep? Are they not real? Maharishi provides the answer to such questions in this verse. He states that the body, senses, mind, life, and ignorance are all not real at all because they appear sometimes and disappear at other times. But the I consciousness always exists, even in deep sleep. Therefore, this consciousness alone is real. And when one finds the source of the I thought and finds the self-shining real I, then one realizes I am the real and not these sheaths that have been hiding me. I am the real mentioned here is not a thought or words expressed, but it is just pure consciousness of being. It is one's own existence beyond all thoughts and words. It is simple being. Sattva bhasika chitkva vetara Sattaya hi chit, chittaya hyaham. As there is no second consciousness to know that which is, then that which is consciousness. So, I am myself, that same consciousness. Explanation for this verse is as follows. In the previous verse, Maharishi stated that the body, senses, mind, life, and ignorance are all not real. The I am, consciousness alone is real. In this verse, he explains why that is so. When the ego arises and immediately identifies with a body, it sees the world through the senses like watching through a kaleidoscope. Besides its own body, it sees other bodies such as this body, that body, and other bodies. So, there is a sense of a personal self and other selves. But then, in deep sleep, the ego disappears and there is no body, senses, mind, thoughts, and so on. In deep sleep, there is only existence, that which is. And so Maharishi explains in this verse that since there is no second being to know that which is, and as it is only known as consciousness by itself, there is only one being consciousness, and the I am feeling in everyone is that same consciousness. Everyone says, I am. If they stop at that, they are one with this being consciousness. But when they proceed to identify themselves with a body and then go on to say, I am this person, this is my personality, this is how I look, these are my traits, these are my likes and dislikes, and so on, then they forget their real nature and start wandering in imaginary worlds, performing various actions, enjoying or suffering their results, thus getting caught in the cycle of births and deaths. In this regard, about this pure consciousness, Maharishi has offered countless words of wisdom on various occasions to numerous devotees. But here is one tiny sample that says it all. It is as follows. Being is knowledge, that is, awareness. That means absence of ignorance. Everyone naturally admits this. And yet, why should he suffer? Because he thinks he is this or that. That is wrong. I am alone is, and not I am so and so or I am such and such. When existence is absolute, it is right. When it is particularized, it is wrong. That is the whole truth. Isha jivayor veshadhibhida sat svabhavato vastu kevalam. The creator and the creatures, in essence the same, appear to be separate only in either being one's real nature as awareness alone or with attributes. Explanation for this verse is as follows. In deep sleep, pure awareness alone is. There are no attributes such as body, mind, thoughts, and so on. But in deep sleep, one is not aware of this pure awareness or pure consciousness. However, when one merges into the self and remains consciously with this awareness alone, it is called self-realization, and then one is said to be a liberated soul. In this verse, Maharishi says that in pure awareness, as just existence, being, consciousness alone, the Creator and the creatures, that is, God and the individuals, are the same. However, when one remains as one's real nature, that is, pure awareness alone, it is the Creator or God. But when one assumes attributes such as a mind, body, and so on, it is the creature or jiva. The separateness between the Creator and the creatures lies in this aspect alone, says Maharishi. Veshahanata swatma darshanam Isha darshanam swatma rupata. Eliminating all the attributes, when one has the vision of one's own real nature, that is indeed God realization, and that is what shines in the form of one's real self. Explanation for this verse is as follows. In the previous verse, Maharishi explained that the separateness between the Creator and creatures lies only in being just as one pure awareness or a separate individual with attributes. When thus one has swayed away from the self and has assumed an individuality and has limited oneself with attributes, at some point the longing comes to merge back, to turn within and realize the pure, eternal, perfect being. That is, the longing to attain God realization. In this verse, Maharishi offers the method for an individual to achieve this God realization. He teaches that if one eliminates all the attributes and has the vision of one's own real nature, this is indeed God realization, which shines as one's own self. And to complete the subject, how does one eliminate all the attributes? By practicing Maharishi's method of self-enquiry in the form of "Who am I?" When this self-enquiry is keenly performed within, and the search is made for the source of the I thought or ego, then the ego vanishes and the attributes vanish with it. And this paves the way for God realization.